I urge you to take a look at the following video. This footage perfectly illustrates the reason why those of us in the pro-gun community stand firm on our stance against any concessions on the issue of gun control. Subscribe, hit that like button, and let's embark on this intellectual exploration together. Let's dive into the heart of the matter of today's video. Actor Idris Elba proves why we can't compromise anything of the Second Amendment.
Save lives at the end.
Save lives.
I mean, I feel like the main problem as well for me would be the fact that it's so easy to get a knife.
Yeah.
That's the main issue. It's like I ordered one off Amazon recently, right? Because obviously I want to start to get into my cooking bag, right? So I've ordered like these big knives, of course, whatever. And all Amazon said to me was, "Are you because my
click a thing,
they said, what's your age?" I said, "I'm 27." All right, thank you, mate.
Enough.
And they just gave it to me, bro. It's like, of course, I know what I'm gonna do with a knife. You know, I'm making food, brother. But it's kind of like, it's very unsettling that I could just get a knife that easy. Because imagine somebody that's 16, 17, and they're thinking, I'm gonna order a knife of Amazon, and it just comes to them. You know, you can just fake an age. It's like there needs to be restrictions.
Kitchen knives are one thing, but the zombie knives are another thing. And the thing is, I think the tech companies have to also sit at the table about how they can help intervene. Because if I say the word knife now in front of my phone, guaranteed somewhere in my timeline, I'm going to see a knife, something's going to happen, a knife crime's going to come up.
That happens.
That is an algorithm that's not helping the situation. To your point earlier about social media, like amplifying the situation, it's like you can get advertised on your phone a knife, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's crazy.
And if you're 12 and your mum and dad got you an iPhone 15 for Christmas, that's your portal to it straight away.
Yeah.
How do oh man, that man had tried for me, I'm gonna try and get this knife.
In this video, I aim to illustrate the ongoing conversation in America, highlighting the direction advocated by the anti-gun lobby. They attempt to portray their stance as merely advocating for common-sense gun control measures. When they talk about it, it seems reasonable, just some rules to make it tougher for criminals to access certain guns like the AR-15. However, the issue lies in the fact that, over the years, statistics have shown that AR-15s are not frequently used in gun violence or mass shootings. Despite this, they disproportionately dominate the discourse in our country concerning firearms. Those observing this conversation from a neutral standpoint need to recognize a larger objective. The ultimate aim of the anti-gun lobby is the eventual prohibition of firearms. Consider the example of the UK, where firearms have been banned, and now they are even contemplating the prohibition of so-called zombie knives.
Today's announcement is about these so-called zombie knives. A long blade, often with a serrated edge, a sharp point, and sometimes words or images glamorizing the weapon.
But loopholes in the law have been exploited, allowing these knives to continue to be used.
As of September, new government legislation will hope to change that. Police will have powers to seize knives found on private property.
We have already taken action to make the carrying of zombie knives illegal. When I became Home Secretary, I made the immediate decision to go further. So I'm very pleased we're taking action now and will be determined to get these knives off the streets.
Anticipating the consequences of the prohibition of zombie knives prompts one to ponder the subsequent legislative measures that may be implemented. As authorities move forward with restricting the possession and use of these specific types of knives, it raises questions about the broader landscape of edged weapon regulations. The logical extension of such regulatory actions leads to a contemplation of whether the ban on zombie knives is merely a precursor to more extensive prohibitions, particularly in the realm of swords. Interestingly, this train of thought is interrupted by the realization that efforts to regulate and potentially ban swords are already underway, thereby underscoring the multifaceted nature of contemporary discussions on weapon control. In the aftermath of the potential ban on zombie knives, the trajectory of legislative initiatives becomes a subject of speculation. The implications of such regulatory endeavors extend beyond the immediate context of these particular blades, giving rise to broader considerations surrounding edged weapons. The contemplation of what might unfold post the ban on zombie knives naturally segues into a broader discourse on the regulatory framework governing swords. Remarkably, the flow of this contemplative process is momentarily disrupted by the recognition that endeavors to impose restrictions on swords are not merely theoretical but are actively being pursued. This realization underscores the nuanced and evolving landscape of contemporary debates surrounding right-wing politics and weapon control. Envisioning the aftermath of a prohibition on zombie knives necessitates a nuanced examination of subsequent legislative measures. As authorities grapple with the intricacies of restricting the possession and use of these unique blades, it prompts an exploration into the broader implications for edged weapon regulations. The ban on zombie knives, rather than existing in isolation, becomes a stepping stone to a broader conversation about the potential restrictions on swords. Intriguingly, this contemplation is momentarily disrupted by the acknowledgement that endeavors to regulate and prohibit swords are not confined to the realm of speculation, they are actively being pursued. This acknowledgement sheds light on the dynamic and multifaceted nature of ongoing discussions within the sphere of right-wing politics, particularly concerning the regulation of weapons.
We need a much broader ban, so it's got to include things like the ninja swords and other dangerous weapons as well.
The relentless pursuit to curb gun ownership will persist until one acknowledges the underlying objective of the anti-gun movement, a complete ban on firearms. Falling prey to the facade of common sense measures, they strategically couch their ultimate desire to prohibit certain weapons under the pretext of reason. This deliberate manipulation unfolds by initially focusing on high-profile items like AR-15s, only to progressively extend their scope to include handguns and eventually anything deemed remotely threatening, akin to the ongoing trend in the United Kingdom. When you entrust the government with your protection, the trade-off invariably involves sacrificing your rights. By imposing bans on specific items, they create an illusion of proactive action, all the while eroding individual freedoms. This repetitive cycle allows them to claim credit for taking action while concurrently infringing upon your rights repeatedly. Notably, the rhetoric surrounding knives in the UK mirrors their approach to AR-15s in the United States, employing fear tactics to stigmatize certain weapons and justify their restrictive measures. To discern the true aspirations of the anti-gun faction, one must confront the reality that their ultimate goal is an all-encompassing ban on firearms. However, they are acutely aware of the constitutional constraints, particularly the Second Amendment. Consequently, their strategy involves a gradual erosion of rights, capitalizing on people's aversion to abrupt and substantial changes. Drawing parallels to historical instances, such as Nazi Germany's incremental approach to power consolidation, underscores the effectiveness of this tactic. The proponents of gun control recognize the necessity of playing the long game. Initiating with calls to ban AR-15s, they anticipate justifying subsequent restrictions on handguns, shotguns, and eventually all firearms. This gradual progression capitalizes on the reluctance of people to embrace significant changes. The insidious intention is to incrementally diminish the right to self-defense, ultimately culminating in a society devoid of the means to protect oneself, even as criminals continue to access illegal weaponry with impunity. This cautionary reflection serves as a reminder to resist emulating the trajectory witnessed in the UK, where a gradual surrender of rights has left citizens without adequate means for self-defense. Vigilance is essential to prevent succumbing to a scenario where law-abiding individuals are disarmed, while criminals persist in obtaining and utilizing illegal weapons. Let this discourse be a poignant reminder: guard against relinquishing essential liberties in exchange for an illusion of security. Remember, the conversation doesn't end here, perfectionists. It continues with each like, comment, and share. Stay informed, stay engaged, and let's keep the dialogue alive. Until next time, this is American Perfectionist signing off, because the world is a stage, and we're all players in the grand political drama. Remember, the quest for a more perfect union never ends. Keep striving, keep questioning, and let's continue this journey towards a better America together. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and always aim for perfection.